Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Will with Schedulefly, and I'm really excited today to have Rob McAlister on the phone. Rob's in Chicago. He's Assistant Director of Operations for Top Nosh Hospitality. They've got Chicago Q, Blue Door Farm Stand, Blue Door Farm Stand 2, Blue Door Kitchen and Garden, and La Storia Restaurant. They've also got a members only cigar lounge. So, uh, Rob, thanks for taking the time to join today, man.
Hey, no problem, man. Happy to be here.
So, so take me back a little bit. How did you get involved in the hospitality business initially?
Well, it's kind of funny. I've been in the hospitality industry for probably 15 years now. I started as a phone and a cashier and order taker for a little Chinese restaurant in the neighborhood around the corner from my house, and they paid me in cash and free food at the end of
Nice.
the night.
All right.
So that was sort of my introduction, and since then I've worked, you know, pretty much every position imaginable at any sort of different concept you can think of. So it's been a long road to where I'm at.
How long have you been with Top Notch?
With this particular company, I've been here for 7 months as of yesterday. So
Okay, cool.
um, yeah, sort of a short. I haven't been here quite that long, but I'm following one of the managers that I've worked with in the past. Became CFO here around that time, and he wanted somebody to come on and be part of his team, so I jumped over here.
What are the main things you're focused on right now as Assistant Director of Operations? What does that mean day to day?
Well, for me, that typically means managing costs, making sure that the ordering and scheduling is in order, keeping our budgets in order, and I manage the payroll. I'm kind of all over the place. I would say right now our biggest focus is on sort of maintaining with this management change that we've had, maintaining our focus on our brands and on our style of service, and as in any hospitality driven store, we're all about making people happy. So that's my number one focus, is making my people happy and making the customers happy.
What do you guys do? What do you do really well across the brands consistently? Like the sort of the foundational principles for Top Notch.
Um, I would say that the number one thing that we're focused on across all of our brands is fresh in-house made food, as locally sourced as we possibly can get it, and everything made from scratch in our kitchens by our guys using the same recipes and pumping out a really awesome product consistently.
Gotcha. And how about the customer facing part with service and hospitality? What are y'all doing really well from that perspective?
Is I think that we are. That's a good question. What are we doing well? I mean, everything. I mean, it's all about personalities, and I think that what we do here is we focus on hiring the right personality and putting them in a position to do well.
Yeah.
So training them on the menu, training them on the ingredients, background training as far as just general culinary knowledge, so that they can explain things that aren't even on our menu, and just the ability to educate the guest on what they're buying or what they're eating, so that they're more interested in eating it, more interested in coming back and trying something else. And it's all, like I said, it all circles back to that person's personality. And we like to have the right people in place that really want to be here and want to learn and want to give the best style of service.
Do you guys? I mean, in Chicago, I mean, do you have a lot of customers that are visiting their own business, their own vacation, or I mean, do you have a lot of? Are you sort of like neighborhood joints where you got a lot of regulars too? I'm sure there's a mix, but what's the bread and butter for the business most of the time?
Man, it's all over the place. It's
Yeah.
kind of hard to peg down. We do have a lot of neighborhood customers. So we're in two different neighborhoods in the city, and as far as our all of our locations, we're kind of centrally located in Gold Coast, which is very much a residential area. So a lot of our business there is repeat customers, people that live in the neighborhood, people that have been coming to Q for 8 years, and they just keep coming back. At the same time, it is a very tourist heavy neighborhood, so we do get a lot of tables of you know businessmen who are just in town for 3 days. They want something to eat. They all come out and see us, or we get a lot of pharmaceutical reps having dinner and stuff like that. So, I mean, we're kind of all over the place. Same thing in Lincoln Park. I would say Lincoln Park is probably more, that's Blue Door Farm Stand. That's probably more neighborhood driven. I mean, we actually have a neighborhood members program, and people that live around here, lots of families come in 2 or 3 times a week, you know.
Gotcha. If you guys, so you using fresh, mostly local food, cooking in house. I mean, cooking in house, all these fresh ingredients, particularly more local ones. Does that make it harder to control costs? Just because by nature of having everything fresh and everything fairly locally sourced, doesn't that get expensive? Is it make your job more challenging? Or I know it's a huge part of what y'all do. I've always been curious about that from a cost perspective.
Yeah, I would say that it does make it a little bit more expensive. I would say as far as, time is concerned, it makes it a little bit more time consuming. But to me, that's par for the course. And, the reason we are successful as a group is because we do that extra step and we focus on those things, and it's not really about the cost. I would say that mostly just when you're dealing with smaller vendors, their costs change, so their prices change.
Yeah.
So that's really is just on a week to week basis, staying on top of, where we're getting what, and who, if we're keeping our order within, an acceptable margin, so that we're not wasteful. So yeah, I would say that does complicate the process quite a bit, because with these larger vendors, it's a lot easier to just, I want 3 bundles of kale. 3 bundles of kale, it's the same price every week. No big deal. But, it comes from the other side of the country, or maybe another country, who knows? I don't know where it comes from. So that's why we like to focus on that. And regardless of the work and the cost, it's just better for the food. It's better for the customer.
Customers are more discerning these days. They're looking for that more, aren't they?
Absolutely. And we're catering to that sort of customer as well. We want the educated eater.
Yeah, for sure. Man, what do you like most about hospitality? You've been in it a long time. I'm sure you've had ups and downs in the business and seen good and bad things about the hospitality business, but you're still doing it. What do you like most about it?
Man, that's a good question. It's funny. Every day I am both thrilled and frustrated on both ends of the spectrum at any given part of the day. I think that's probably my favorite thing about hospitality is as much as we strive for consistency, it's almost always about reaction. And there's always something to react to. There's always a different challenge coming at the wrong time. And I have an opportunity to overcome some sort of challenge every day. And that's kind of the fun thing for me is having those opportunities to react in a situation and make the situation better. And that really, it's variety, man. It spices up the life.
Well, it's interesting because, I just think that folks that work in hospitality, particularly when we've done it as long as you have, it really, you have to be able to deal with so much. There's many careers where you have to deal with a lot at once and all that. But man, hospitality, y'all have, particularly with multiple locations and things like that, there's something breaking, there's somebody quitting, there's an upset guest, and then there's positive things happen. There's people that are celebrating a engagement in a place. There's just so much going on all the time, and being able to physically and emotionally balance all that stuff, to me, is just like, if you can do that, you can almost do, you can do a lot of things with that. Like, that's a skill set that's highly transferable to lots of different careers. I think young people that are getting in the business, I know it's harder and harder to get young people to work in hospitality these days, or maybe not for y'all. I hear that a lot. I'm curious your thoughts, but it's like if you can, the skills you'll learn even just in a few years working in hospitality, especially on the back of the kitchen or on the front line, it's like, dude, if you can do that, you can do anything, right? Isn't that true?
Yeah, I hope it's true. But yeah, I definitely would say that my on-the-job education in this field far surpasses anything that I've done in other. I was in sales briefly. I've bounced around from industry to industry a little bit, but hospitality has always been sort of my home. And yeah, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Somebody
Well,
walked right by me.
no. I mean, like in sale, and I bet there's ups and downs and everything, but the amount of stuff you're taking in and dealing with, like
Mm,
all
yeah,
day in hospital, long hours, lots of stuff. Barely, like you said, it's barely ever routine or consistent, right? There's just always something going on. I just feel like it's a really great skill set that you learn.
it's
It's fairly unique
it
in
is
hospitality.
it is a lot of juggle. It's a lot of you walk in the door with a plan, and then your plan gets hit in the face by something else, and then your plan changes all day, and then you add more to the plan in the middle of the day because somebody walked up to you and said, oh, the cooler's running a little hot today, so okay, I got to call this guy. And there's a lot of adding to you know coming in with your plan, and then you add, and you try to subtract, and a lot of reacting and delegating, and man, it gets stressful. But I've come up with sort of my mental solution for how to plan my day, which is pick out 3 tasks that I can accomplish no matter what hits me in the face today, and then plan for you know not having a plan. Basically, just find things to react to, find things to fix before they become an issue, and you know plug along.
Yeah, so a proactive list and then but ready to be reactive. That makes a lot of sense. If you
Absolutely.
at least get those 3 things done every day. Um, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Let me ask you this: the what do you guys do? I mean, you've got so much competition in Chicago. Tons of great restaurants, tons of people doing all kinds of stuff. I'm sure the competition helps keep you guys on your toes. But what do you? How do you guys engage your regular customers and try to keep them coming back once they're gone? Is it? I mean, do you use social media really well, or what things do you all do to try to keep them coming back in?
Their social presence is huge. Again, when we're talking about regulars, I want to harken back to the personalities of the people that we put in place, the front of house staff
Yeah.
specifically. Having the right people there who know how to maintain regular business by just being a good host.
Right.
Hosting a lot of people, especially people who you would call quote unquote regular. Those are the type of people who like to go out. They don't mind spending a little bit of extra money for something nice, and they want to be treated to an experience. And whether that's a day to day, if it's just I call them aces, a solo diner, somebody who comes in by themselves and maybe just sits at the bar, grabs the table by themselves. Those are the people that are going to come back 3 or 4 days a week, and you
Yeah.
need to know
Yeah,
how
for
to
sure.
how to give those people that little experience that they want, and really maintain it throughout the night. And then by the end of the night, they're already planning the next visit. They know what they're going to eat next time. They know where they want to sit. They know who they want to talk to. That coupled with, yes, a lot of social media, loyalty programs. We do as much as we can to keep the customer engaged. And big part of that is menu changes, keeping a fresh menu, especially with the way our menu works, seasonal items, letting people know that we are constantly upgrading our menu and trying new things and giving them new opportunities and new flavors to try that they can't get anywhere else. Uh, it's really it's a multifaceted thing, trying to get people to come back in, trying to keep making those touches so people are thinking about us.
Gotcha. All right, well, let me ask you this. Okay, so I'm curious about Chicago Q. Is that barbecue? I'm assuming so.
Yes, sir.
What
Best
kind
in
of
the
what
city,
kind
if
of
you ask me.
All right, well, I hear you, man. Okay, so what kind of barbecue are we serving there? I'm a big fan of barbecue. I'm in North Carolina, and we eat a lot of pulled pork barbecue down here. So what's the definition of barbecue in Chicago?
Well, our definition of barbecue is non-regionally specific. We'll do any kind of barbecue you want to throw at us. We got beef ribs, we got pulled pork, we got whole smoked chickens. We smoke everything in
Hmm.
uh, hickory cherry, and applewood. Um, our own little combination. And yeah, I mean, there is no barbecue we won't touch. We'll do barbecue, street tacos, Mexican style.
Uh,
We had a Korean beef rib special. anything if you can smoke it, grill it, or heat it up, we'll put it on a plate and make it pretty.
So wherever you're from, whatever you define as barbecue, you guys are probably doing some sort of it there. If you're in Chicago, man, that sounds. Dude, it's 10:40 my time. My mouth is watering. I'm not kidding. I'm serious. That sounds awesome. Hey, by the way, you mentioned, I think, did you tell me you listen to a lot of podcasts? Is that right?
Yeah, I'm a bit of a podcast fanatic.
What are some of your favorite ones? Just out of
Oh
curiosity.
man. If I'm looking for some motivation, I'll listen to Jocko Willink podcast.
Jocko. Yeah. I
Yeah,
know
he's
Jocko.
a former Navy SEAL. I was born and raised in a military. I'm an Army brat myself, so that's the kind of stuff that gets me going sometimes.
Oh, I had my son. My 11-year-old read his. He's written two kids
Warrior
books.
Kid.
Yeah.
The Warrior Kid.
Yeah, and then the second one is called Mark's Mission. He read Mark's Mission this summer as one of his required. Well, I mean, he had to pick a book, so he picked that one, and then he's reading the Warrior Kid one, which was actually the first one. But
that's very cool. I think that's probably a good idea for a young man.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we're trying to, he's a little all over the place, so I'm trying to talk to him about discipline and rigor. And Jocko's certainly
absolutely.
got that. Oh man. Okay, so what else? That's a good one.
So I found him obviously from Joe Rogan Experience. He's one of the big ones on the net right now.
Yeah.
That's probably my most go-to. Just the variety of guests that he has on there. I can, one day he's talking about microbiology, another day astronomy. Another day they're just getting crazy and making fun of things. What's another one? There's one called Your Mom's House podcast. That's a comedy. I would not suggest for folks under 18.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah. What's another one that I like? I don't know. I almost want to look at my phone and see what else I've been listening. NPR podcasts. I'll try those out anytime.
Yeah.
I like to hit the news from NPR a lot.
Yep. Okay. I just listen to a lot of them. So I just ask because I'm curious. When I find somebody that listens to a lot, I'm curious because I listen to a lot of them as well. And I'm sure anybody listening to this, there are a couple of good ideas for you. So, yeah, I need to check out Jocko's podcast. I've heard him interviewed, I think, by maybe Joe Rogan and some other people, Tim Ferriss maybe, but I've never actually listened to his podcast, so I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it can get pretty intense, I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
There's emotions.
Oh, really? Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, he's an intense dude. I admire him a lot. I mean, he's a, like if I had 30% of his drive and discipline, it would be a good thing. But I do. He's doing good stuff. Well, hey man, listen, dude. I know you got to run. I know you're a busy guy. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this a lot, and appreciate the business and just get after it, man. If I come up there, I'm going to be hitting Chicago Q for sure. May try to get to
absolutely
a Cubs game or something before the season's over.
Yeah, man, and hey, we appreciate you as well. I've been working with Schedule Fly for probably 8 years now, if not more.
Oh, wow.
Always been a pleasure, always been an easy service to use. And it's kind of funny. I called you a couple months back for some help, and it was just, damn, this is the most helpful guy I've ever met in my life. And, it was absolutely perfect situation. We got this, I got it where I needed it to be and quickly, and super happy to be working with you guys. And, any new restaurant we bring up on board, you better believe that Schedule Fly is going to be our provider for sure. Dang, man.
Dude, that was not necessary, but I appreciate that very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. We always
thank you, Will.
On that, man. Well, Rob, have a good one, man. Thanks. We'll talk again soon, I'm sure. Always around and always happy to help. And we'll just get after it, man. You guys have a good day, good week, and we'll catch up soon.
All right. Take it easy, Will. Thank you very much.
Okay. See ya.
Bye-bye.